guys, today we're going to be talking about my 2005 custom built Duramax, but to start off I wanted to let you guys know that the shirts I told you about last week are now for sale. I will put the link below to let you guys go over there and order them. They're going to be on sale till next Saturday, which I believe is like, what's the day, the 21st? It's probably like the 28th or something, so go over there, get them, and they'll ship out after the 28th, and you can, all the proceeds go to the channel to help the build, help the trucks, help everything. Alright guys, this is my 2005 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. I bought it about 5 years ago when I was back in Rhode Island. It had completely bone stock at the time. We installed a 6-inch lift, some 35s, just custom tunes, the basic stuff, did a built trans, and then I drove it out to California when I joined the military, and I've been in California for the last 3 years, and the truck has kind of changed a lot. It is now a full custom, it's technically a 4-link, some people call it a 5-link with the drag link, but it's a 4-link setup with a Dana 60, coilovers, all custom built by me. It's no kit, no nothing. The truck has gone through a lot of changes. It now has a ZF6 manual transmission, and it's still compound turboed. So we've done a lot in the last few years, and we're just gonna talk about it. So everything on this truck has been custom built by me. Obviously some things had to be ordered, but I picked up a Dana 60 out of a 2001 Dodge, and we decided to go 4-link coilovers to get the smoothest ride possible. So I actually handmade all the brackets for the 4-link and the drag links and the coilovers and everything. And we set up a crossover steering. So this comes from the box. We used 3/4-inch bolts with misalignments on the Heim joints. I custom cut and welded this bar back together to clear the pumpkin. And this is kind of the setup I've been running. Everyone was kind of asking what I did for steering. I was planning on doing a high steer kit on the spindle, but we didn't end up going with that. We're above and below on a crossover steering setup. I made this custom dual steering stabilizer. It's not the most perfect thing, but I ended up using exhaust clamps and welded on plates to them and clamped them both to the axle and to the steering link, and it helped tremendously. I'm running 10-inch Fox 2.5 coilovers with, I believe, 750 spring rates, under 600-pound spring rates, and the ride's pretty good. As far as everything goes under here, every bracket, every plate, everything was handmade by me, and along with all the bars. These are 1.25-inch Heims for everything, and it's a pretty sturdy and solid setup. For the back part of the 4-link kit, I made frame plates and welded them on. They're all 1/4-inch steel. I boxed off the inside of the frame, welded on the outside plates, still running the 1.25-inch Heims for the trailing arms and everything. We decided to go with an actual 4-link with the 2 bars instead of mounting it off this. It made the truck a little bit taller, but we wanted a little bit better ride. We wanted a little bit more articulation and adjustment with it, and I'm really happy with the way it came out. The truck's pretty tall, but it's still functional. It still works pretty good. And as far as the difficulty of welding these on and making it this way, it wasn't too bad. We had to do some minor trimming on the cross members to clear the bars, but other than that, we have no clearance issues with anything. And yeah. So the current wheel and tire setup on this truck is 20x12 hostile strikers with a -44 offset, and we're actually going to be going up to, if I can find them, a 20x14, because I'm not a big fan of 22s, but we'll probably have to go 22x14 with a -76 for clearance issues, so I actually need the stance. But as for right now, this is what we're running, and I love them. One of my favorite rims out there. We are running a 38x15.5 Nitto Terra Grappler, I believe. Trail Grappler MT. I have no issues with clearance besides hitting the 4-link bars, and that's due to the offset and some mismeasurements by me. But as far as the wheels and tires, I love them, and they ride amazing. I have no issues with wear yet or anything. Everything's holding straight. The truck drives straight. Everything on the suspension turned out exactly how I wanted it to be, and it's a pretty tall, head-turning truck. So as far as the internals of the motor go, it's been rebuilt once, but it's a stock rebuild, just Molly bearings throughout the whole motor. Complete. It's got a LB7 rotating assembly with LB7 pistons and rods in it, because I blew it up the first time. It's ARP head studs, grade C gaskets. And as far as fuel goes, still running stock injectors, but I have some minor fuel upgrades with an LBZ regulator, ported fuel rails, and the high pressure, or the race fuel relief valve. We are running a SDP compound turbo setup with an S475 billet wheel, feeding the stock LLY 63mm turbo with a billet. It's got a Wicked Wheel 2 in it, and we run anywhere from about 40 to 60 pounds of boost on it. I've had no issues with it, and driving with the manual has been a lot of fun. It's definitely a little bit more smoky now being a manual. It doesn't really stay in the boost too much, but it's still rips. So it's a really fun truck. I recommend this kit. I heard some guys talking about going with the S480s instead of S475 due to running out of air. And for a stock fuel truck, you can get away with running this S475 and have zero issues with it. And the spool is pretty decent. It's better with the auto, but with the manual, it's still not really even, the drivability is not too bad at all. So I highly recommend it. It's fun. I've put this motor through hell, and it's held up great. I know I dynoed an unloaded dyno and made just about 500 horsepower at like 800 and something foot-pounds of torque on stock fuel. So, and that was an unloaded dyno. Had some problems building boost. We made that was at like 40 pounds of boost. So it's definitely a fun setup. It definitely runs good, and it's a hell of a truck. So as I said, the truck is a ZF6 manual swap out of a 2003 Duramax. Still running the electronic transfer case right now. We're working on getting all the wiring figured out. I'm running a South Bend dual disc clutch, good for 650 wheel horse. And as far as that, the swap was super easy. Slight modification to the cross member, but it was just swapping the trans. We still have the wiring in, the park neutral safety switch we had to take off and set it to park just to get the truck to start until we figure out the wiring of it. This build was done probably about 2 months ago now, but it's still working out the kinks and everything in it. I'm running a 4-inch downpipe off the S475 to 5-inch Flo-Pro straight pipe that we put a 90 in, and it's running to an 8-inch octagon cat stack. And this is my truck.